Joe Brikman, shalom.
Shalom.
So thank you for hosting us here. This is your home?
This is, I guess you can call it my home. Yeah, I spend more time here than I spend at my actual house.
This is like the paratroopers, the main base of paratroopers, or
This
where
is
they're
the
trained?
base of. This is the training base of paratroopers. Yeah.
What stage are you in?
Almost done.
Basic training.
In advanced training.
Advanced training.
Yeah, there's basic, advanced, and then
Did you jump yet? Paratroopers jump from the plane?
Yeah, I jumped.
How was that?
That was amazing. It was probably one of the best experiences I've had to date in the Army.
Wow. Joe, you're coming to us, the people of Israel and the land of Israel, from Crown Heights.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, if I say Crown Heights, I see the kippah, I see the beard. You're coming from a Chabad background.
Yeah, I grew up in a Chabad family.
What does that mean? Yeshivot, shlichim, things like that?
All of that. My brother's actually a shliach right now in Los Angeles, in California, in yeshiva. And I grew up until the age of 18. I was in Chabad yeshivas. I started off in Crown Heights, and from there I moved on. All limudei kodesh, only none of the math and English or any of that. And yeah, pretty much just
Now, Chabad is considered a part of the Haredi public that are very pro-army in terms of helping, in terms of assisting, sending support, even donating money and, loving our soldiers. But what happens when one of them decides to draft and to join the IDF?
So, going back a few years ago, right, when it started becoming a thing for people to draft, there's always that stigma that people have with something new, that he's probably gonna lose his Judaism. He's probably gonna find a new path, find a new way, do a new thing. In the beginning, it really was one of those things that I felt and I heard that any of my friends who went, they were, not totally with it, or they were off the derech, or people would, whisper about them. Mm-hmm. But then once people started realizing how much it actually contributes to people's lives and how much it actually changes people for the good.
And it is a mitzvah.
Yes.
It is a big mitzvah.
Yeah. So once people started realizing that, then, people started becoming a lot more for it. People started realizing that, wow, someone goes for 2 years, he sets a very serious amount of time in a very important period of his life aside to go and put his life on the front lines. Those that are in combat units to dedicate to our country, to our people.
Now, we mentioned jumping from a plane, but let's talk about a roller coaster. The years until your decision to join the Army and until we see you here were a roller coaster. In the community, out of the community, you suffered abuse?
Yeah. So one of the things that happens, in all these tight-knit communities, is you always have those people who, find ways to do things that aren't of the best nature. Looking back, I can say I was blessed, with some of the experiences that I've been through, and some of them I've just had to learn how to deal with. But going through sexual abuse, right, and having to learn how to deal with it, how to be honest about it, how to, get the help that you need, and essentially rebuild yourself as a person. You really start seeing that you're not the only person that's going through these things. And unfortunately, in our communities, there's a lot of it going on, and lots of people, all they really do is just sweep it under the rug.
So you had to deal with it on your own?
So yeah, I had to start dealing with it on my own until I got to a point where I just couldn't keep it inside anymore. I popped right before my bar mitzvah, and right around that time, my dad got sick with cancer. So, all of that whirlwind of everything, I just realized that, I'd have to grab the bull by the horns and figure out a way to make this work. And
so that at some point that also pushed you away from religion, from the community.
So looking in...
By the way, what you're hearing is the training, right?
Yeah.
You'll be joining them soon, don't worry.
Shooting ranges are right behind us. But like realizing that there are people who actually, don't want to take responsibility for it, and people that shift the blame, and people that, this isn't us, we don't have this here, all those kind of, things that you hear. Eventually I got disgusted by it, and I was like, I cannot be a part of something that I went through that, will look me straight in the eye and say, this doesn't happen here.
So you went OTD, that's the abbreviation for off the derech, off the way, but you were out there helping people. What point did you start really helping other people who suffered abuse?
So first thing about the OTD thing, right? Haredim, religious people, they love labeling things, putting things in boxes, compartmentalizing stuff. I'm not a fan of labels at all, because, labeling things essentially means that you're separating two things. This is one thing, this is something else. At the end of the day, we're all one, right? We're all here for the same reason. We all believe in the same God, believe in the same religion. Yeah, everyone has their different minhagim, different ways that they do things. But at the end of the day, we're all the same. So, when people look at others and say, exclude them from where they are, that's one of the biggest issues that we have as people. And that's where you start having all of these issues, because it starts off by saying, hey, I'm better than you because I'm here, and you're here because I do this and you don't do that. How about looking at, I do this, you do this, I'm religious, you're working on your religion, I'm Jewish, you're not, right? I'm Jewish, you're Jewish, let's be friends, right? So going through that process of having to experience that, of people, talking behind my back about all the different things that they thought I was up to and what I was doing. My mom having to, randomly call me freaking out about things that people were talking about, and then me learning how to appreciate religion in a way where it brings me happiness, and then go back and mend the relationships with the people that felt that I had damaged relationships with them because of the fact that I didn't click with them on a religious level. It's one of those things that when you look a little bit, when you zoom out and you focus a little bit more on the around instead of just on you, then you realize that, wow, there are so many other people that are literally going through the same exact thing I'm going through, just in a little bit of a different context.
And then you decided to really
stand up and help them? Well, realizing that there isn't enough support for those kind of people. In the past few years, I've lost more than the fingers I have on my hands of friends, to suicides, drug overdoses, those kind of things. And then if you look at the Jewish teenage population as a whole over the past 10 years, you're talking about hundreds of kids that have either overdosed or committed suicide because they were depressed, they didn't have help, they felt like they were oppressed, even. Whether or not they were wrong, we can't judge them.
That's what they were feeling.
But that's what they were feeling, and there was nobody to help them with that. So realizing that I'm not the only one here dealing with this, and so many people that I've met along my journey that are also dealing with the same things, and learning how to support each other and love each other for who we are and not judge, and really just focus on bringing happiness and fulfillment to others and giving other people those opportunities as well, that contributes to my happiness. That helps me have a meaningful day, that helps me find meaning. And
slowly you also felt more comfortable with the religion and the way you formed it, or came back to it? Yeah, because again, my whole idea, right, with life in general is happiness. It's all about finding fulfillment, finding something that when I wake up in the morning and when I go to sleep at night, I can feel that I've done something and I've accomplished something here today. The day did not go wasted. So doing things that make me happy, right? Helping others, or finding my happiness through religion, right? And finding my fulfillment with that, and learning how to maximize that, then yeah, definitely. It's one of those things that really makes me want to work on it every day because of what it gives me. So you're out there helping people, and it sounds very fulfilling. When did you decide to come here to Israel? It's hot in Israel. Start crawling on the floor and jumping from planes and running and sweating? Lots of people who get out there, write books, give business seminars, talk about a lot of different cool things. Lots of professors that sit in colleges and teach things that they've never experienced in their own life.
but because they have some sort of degree or because they have some sort of something that people, acknowledge them for, even rabbis sometimes, they feel that they can just talk and people need to listen to them. Then you have other people who go out there and do things, experience those things, learn from those experiences, and then when they turn around and they actually start helping somebody, they turn around and actually start doing something for somebody, they're not doing it because they're going to get some financial or monetary gain or some sort of fulfillment or status or whatever. They're doing that because they've been through it and they can genuinely give to other people. So I feel that going through my journey in life, the more experiences I can collect, the more things that I can do where I test myself, where I learn more about myself. When someone turns around and asks me for something or asks me for help or asks me for an opinion, I can turn around and give them an answer based off the fact that I've actually experienced it, as opposed to saying, hey, this is what it says in the book.
Now, you're hearing this system of Netzach Yehuda, and you're a paratrooper. That's kind of unique. Tell us about that.
So for those who don't know what Netzach Yehuda is a unit in the Kfir Brigade that was originally established to help religious soldiers keep religion in the army. That's one of the big things that people worried about. You draft into the army, you're going to get rid of your religion, which is ironic because it's the Israeli army and it's a Jewish army, but it happens. So, to be able to keep your own ground, they opened up another unit in Sanchanim, in the Paratroopers Brigade, which gives people who really want to test themselves, but also keep religion at the same time. It really gives me the opportunity to do that because they give us time to daven in the morning, they give us time to daven in the afternoon, they give us time to daven at night, and then sometimes I even have a chance to catch up on some learning, with an hour of learning. So with all of that, and with the food, and with making sure that everything is really kept in accordance with what it is, then if there was anything that was holding me back in terms of religion for joining the army, this definitely helped me make that decision.
So your family who were with you, and they saw your roller coaster, and it probably wasn't easy at all. How are they with you now, as they see this happy Joe?
So I think that, I know actually that my parents always wanted me to be happy. They always wanted me to be fulfilled, right? So everything that, you have any kids?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
4.
4 kids. How old's the oldest?
15.
All right, you're just starting the whole thing. So when you as a parent, right, I'm assuming that you want to do things that are for the good of your kids, right? So my parents are the same way, right? They went above and beyond for everything. So even though sometimes there were things that I did that directly clashed with their beliefs, they still try to support me as best as they could. Obviously, they couldn't give me their blessing because it didn't work. But everything that they were able to do to help, they did. After my father passed away, I had an opportunity to go back to my family and really mend the relationship with anything that was missing, anything that was out of place, anything that, someone might have wanted to say but didn't actually say because they weren't sure of how I would deal with it, because that's the way teenagers are. You say something the wrong way and that's it. It's all gone. They don't talk to you for ages. So going back and be able to really, as an adult, fix or, smooth over things that needed to be smoothed over, and starting a new page, I honestly couldn't be more blessed than I am now, having my family's support. Yeah.
Wow. Joe, איך העברית שלך? How's your Hebrew?
Hebrew is beseda.
Where'd you get that from? We had an interview also in Hebrew, and it's like blah 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 blah. Everything's great. Where's the Hebrew from?
So I picked it up. Growing up in Crown Heights, and then I have a passion for languages. So I really, always been trying to perfect it. And then coming here before I drafted, I spent some time here in a mechina. When your commander starts screaming at you in a language that you're not really sure what exactly he means, you better be sure that next time you're going to understand what it means, because you don't want him to keep screaming at you, because that involves disciplinary punishment and you're just not interested. Wow. So
you're an Israeli soldier and you're here in Israel to stay, Bezrat Hashem, right?
That's the plan, yeah. Really just, I feel that one of the reasons why I'm here in the army is that I feel that every citizen that lives here in the state is, it's one of those things that you just do is the mitzvah that we have of protecting our country. And having the opportunity to do that in a combat role is really something that, I feel really will help me prepare for that journey.
Joe Brikman, thank you very much, and There's no shooting anymore. I think they're waiting
Nah,
for
we're
you.
done.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks.